Hey, what's up, ladies and gents? Got a knife for you today. Give you a little preview. Indeedy, little zero tolerance coming at you today. Won't tell you what one it is until a little later on, though. Got a quick little story for you. It's always cool. Just had one of my good friends from high school come up, visit me last weekend. You know, we had a great time, hung around, went out, played some video games, talked some knives. Always a cool kid. Always into a lot of stuff. He saw some of the knives I had. He had a couple on him, too, actually. Just like the $5 variety, and I started showing him some nicer ones, better ones, and he got really into it. We broke out some sharpening gear, and we touched up all his knives that he got, and he was just, like, I could just see it in his eyes, man. He was hooked. So, it's pretty cool. He's actually coming up again this weekend coming up, and then we're going to try and find a local brick-and-mortar knife store. And when I say local, I mean we might be driving an hour about, because I just don't know where there is one. I'm in Central Jersey, in like the Princeton, like 195 goes east to west, around that area, Princeton area, Monmouth area. So if anybody has any recommendations of a good brick and mortar knife store that has a bunch of good brands, he's probably gonna want to spend around $50 for his first good knife. But if anybody has any suggestions, that'd be much appreciated. I do know of one, and I think it's like Brick Plaza or Ocean County Mall around like Tom's River area. But I can't find it online. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I used to have their card, but I think I left it before I moved. I think it's still in my other house. Anyway, so it was just really cool to talk knives with somebody. Not on the forums, not on YouTube, to have like one of my good friends actually interested and want to follow up and stuff. So that was really cool. I just wanted to share that with you guys. And once again, if anybody has any suggestions of where to go, I know it's a blank white screen. I'm sorry, guys. It's boring. I should be flashing some knives, huh? Touched this up on the Sharp Maker. Excellent job. It's a good product. I'm actually going to make a video review on that as well, maybe later on tonight. Anyway, we'll get back into the knife thing. So without further ado, let's start doing this overview of this knife that I got on Saturday. And it is, as you know, zero tolerance, 300. This is a beast. Just an awesome knife. Only way that I can really describe this knife, or the best way that I think I can describe this knife, is it's an elegant beast, or beastly elegant. I'll explain all the reasons why I think that way, but let's roll some macro shots with some Alice in Chains. I heard this song, one of my favorite TV shows that's going right now, Californication. If you guys have ever watched it, it's phenomenal. It's awesome. Hank Moody's the man. So some macro for you guys. You guys can see the pretty hard cut jimp in there. Quite excellent. Continues onto the blade. So smooth. Barely put any pressure on that. There's something just mesmerizing to me about this blade shape as well. Good solid lockup there. Alright guys, let's get into a little bit of the overview, alright? Just trying that new strategy, or that new setup. So, okay, first thing, this knife's a beast. It weighs around 8 ounces, twice as heavy as anything I got, and you can definitely tell, but man, does it feel solid. It's a good weight. You can deploy this knife in 2 ways, thumb stud or the flipper. Now, if this wasn't spring assisted, which it is, I'm sure you guys know that, if this wasn't spring assisted, you might have some trouble with the thumb studs. But the fact that, one, they're so wide, you guys can see how wide it is. I actually have good traction. If I go right on top of the thumb stud, almost right on top, it's easy to deploy. You might have a little trouble if this wasn't assisted, but it's easy with the thumb studs. And obviously I'm making this point because they're not the most accessible thumb studs, but like I said, it doesn't really matter. It's easy deployable since it is assisted opening with the thumb studs, and obviously it's going to be easy deployable with the flipper. Really, very little pressure has to be put down. The detent to overcome, or the pressure to overcome the detent is actually very minimal. However, because it's, I guess, spring assisted, or because it's assisted opening, this knife cannot be shaken out. No worries there. The machining, the 3D machining on this G10 is awesome looking, and it's awesome feeling. My friend was here when I got this, and he was just amazed by this knife. I'm trying to get him a ZT200. But anyway, and this titanium frame lock side is also machined in the same kind of 3D way. Try to put the same pattern on. Not going to lie, the pattern is a little different on this side than this side, probably just because it's hard to machine titanium. Maybe. Either way, it's pretty almost identical. It's real nice. It's a real nice touch. I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not focusing right now. Come on. Atta girl. Anyway, the clip is great. It's minimal. It could be mounted a little bit higher if you want for deep pocket. I'm normally not a stickler with that, but on a knife like this, where it's so wide, wider than my other knives and so beastly, especially with tip down, with this in the pocket, right there. That's about, because the clip doesn't start right away, so you're about that. Almost the flipper is almost coming out, and that's a lot of stuff. Here it would actually almost be better on this side, but so anyway, the clip's good. It's strong. It's not gonna, unless you flip upside down, that's really not gonna come out. There's something just mesmerizing to me about this blade shape. I'll let it focus for a second. There we go. But it's so fat. It's a full flat, or not a full, but it's a flat grind. And with how fat the blade is, how wide it is, it might as well be full flat grind, because even if you go from here down, that's thicker than some blades. But the recurve is excellent. The bevel on this is great. It's a tad uneven from the factory, but I can't really fault them on that. It's a good bevel. It's laid back quite nicely. For such a beastly knife, I imagine this would slice real well. Now, I did not do too extensive cutting with this, or too much cutting at all with this, to be quite honestly, just because I'm not sure if I'm keeping it or not, but that's another story besides the point. It really is. It's by far the biggest knife I have. It's comfortable to a point. I guess I could talk about that real quick. For how much I love this knife and how mesmerized I am by it, the only downside is, I guess my hands might just be a tad too small for this, or just a tad awkward size. Where I don't even want to say this because it's comfortable, but it's not It's not the most comfortable knife I have. This middle finger kind of hits this bump a little bit, and if it wasn't such a pronounced bump, the knife would be more comfortable for me. But then it wouldn't have such a big finger choil. So if I hold it back here, I don't have that problem, but I like to get closer like that. I like to put my finger right behind the choil, or the flipper, creating a finger guard, and my thumb right up on that jimping. Now this is comfy for me, no doubt. Like I said, I haven't used it excessively, so I don't know if that would create a hot spot. And this is this isn't a critique on the knife even. This isn't a downside to the knife because this is my hand. Other people with other size hands are going to have different feels for this. But this is pretty comfy, but that makes it a little less comfy for me. Anyway, the rest of the knife is honestly beautiful. Reverse grip is quite comfortable, quite natural. You have a lot to hold on to. This is the only knife I have that really, my fingers just barely touch the other side of my hand. Like, you know, even my Mannix, which is a decently sized handle, you know, I go to grip it, you know, the knife becomes engulfed in my hand. Here, not so much, you know. So it really is a beastly knife. And what I meant before when I said like a beastly elegance, I know that sounds weird and stupid, but for how beastly this is, how big it is, it's a strong, thick TI frame lock with a spring assist, okay? It locks up strong, it locks up solid. Hopefully you guys can see it. But there's no stick whatsoever. I mean, there's no stick whatsoever. So it's elegant in the fact that the lock bar doesn't stick. It's easy to disengage. It's a big beastie frame lock, but it's easy to disengage. It's easy to actuate the spring assist mechanism, to actuate the blade and have it fly out of the handle. I don't know. It's a big knife in feel, but with small knife attributes. It's smooth. It's I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's great. If you like big knives, this is amazing. I take this over a Strider. If you want, I would say this might. Nah, I shouldn't even like go out making these statements because I really don't have too much experience with with beating the hell out of those knives or this knife. But if you look at the contact area, it's actually, there's more contact area than a Strider. I'm going to try and illustrate that to you, but I don't know if I can get the camera to pick this up. I'm trying to get light to shine through. There. Can you kind of see where the light's coming through in the back of the lock bar? But the rest, hard to see, guys. I'm sorry. Right there. You see the light coming through in the back, but not in the front? That's the contact area, and it's a good amount of contact area instead of just like the front corner on a Strider, which is also hard use. Now this is a Strider / Ken Onion collaboration. There you go. And you can actually definitely tell. I mean, this thing is beast and thick like a Strider. And actually, if you look at it from a distance, you know, it definitely has the rolling flow of a Ken Onion design. And that's probably what makes it so elegant and such a beast. I mean, it really is. I love that part. Anyway, you can really tell, like, you know, if you give this to a knife aficionado, somebody that's been collecting knives and seen a lot of knives, you know, you could tell this is Onion and Strider, like, design. But without rambling, I really don't know what else to say. The jimping is hard cut, and it grips your thumb. I was going to try and use a comparison, but didn't work out too well. It's hard cut jimping, but it's not uncomfortable. It's not going to tear up your thumb near as much as Strider's jimping, but it definitely does the job. Without a doubt, does the job very well. You can really, and even the jimping on most knives, jimping on the actual handle is subpar in my experience. Maybe I just haven't had the right knives with jimping on the handle, but it's been subpar experience for me. But this definitely has the best jimping on the handle of any knife I've ever held. So you can lock your thumb in right here, no problem, or you can lock it in up top. You know, and the quality is just, the fit and finish is there. The quality's there. If my camera ever focuses. There we go. You know, it's a little hard to tell on black knives, I guess, but you know, quality's there, fit and finish is there, everything lines up nicely. Even this jimping is hard cut, and it's, you know, it'll grip in. But it's not something that, you know, with some use, it's not going to tear your thumb up. With extended use, it might, but, you know. If you have big hands and you feel like choking up on this knife, this is definitely a great place to put your thumb. Little bit of a stretch for me. This is more comfortable, but you can definitely put your finger there. if you want to get creative, you can even probably make a finger choil here, and choking up like this would be amazing for this knife. But you really don't want to do that if you got a sharp blade there. I'm not really putting much pressure, but I can see that being very useful. Anyway, guys, I hope this wasn't too much of a mess or too choppy for you. But this is a great knife. I mean, I really didn't think I'd like it so much. My whole plan was, I got this in a trade. My whole plan was to just flip it and either trade for something I like plus cash, or just sell it in general. But there's something about this that's making it really tough for me just to, put out to sell. I do have it listed for a trade, but, I'm going to be pretty picky because I don't know, there's something about it. The problem is I can't see myself carrying this too much because it's so big. It's so beastly. This is really the first knife I notice in my pocket. I don't think I'm being too picky about it either, but, I mean, kind of at a weird angle, but hopefully you guys can see. So, 8-ounce beast knife. On. 4-ounce knife, essentially. Pretty much same cutting area. Obviously, with such a recurve and such a upswept belly, you're going to have more cutting edge on the ZT300 than the Zon. But, once you're over 3.5, for my uses or my experience, once you're over 3.5, you're pretty much good. I don't have to worry about it then. Now, this Zon used to be, I guess, my biggest knife. Longest, kind of, not heaviest, but, my most, beastly knife. Between that and the Mannix. But this still has a Spyderco, kind of light and ergonomic feel, where the Zon kind of has, a, sturdy tank folder feel. Literally after playing with the ZT for a couple hours, just fondling it, holding it like this, and having it in my pocket, I grabbed the Zon real quick, and it feels like a play toy. I mean, this thing feels light, nimble, small, which is, that's a feat to make this knife feel small. So, it is a big knife, but nobody's questioning that now, are they? But it has an incredibly smooth, flowing, and elegant feel for such a big, beastly knife. I do see what everybody's talking about with this now. I was kind of skeptical at first, but hell, man, it's really I like this knife a lot. It's really cool. I just don't know if I'd carry it enough to justify having it. But alright, guys, hopefully that wasn't too much of a ramble. Hopefully I talked about the blade as well. It's a flat grind, and I might have gotten cut off, or I might have cut myself off. But because it's so wide, it's able to taper down to what I feel is a decently thin cutting edge. So I feel like this will be a good slicer, especially with the recurve. That'll just eat through material. So I feel like this is going to be a good slicer. It's got a nice thickness to it. You don't have to worry about this snapping, under even abusing it a little bit. You're not really going to have to worry about it snapping. Just don't try and lift up a car, pry a car off the ground or something. And the tip has, the upper swedge kind of takes away some thickness, but it does get carried to right here, and then it starts to thin to the tip, so the tip even has a good thickness to it. Overall, great knife, man. I just I wish it was a little less bulky, just a little less. But otherwise, amazing knife. I can't really find a fault with it. The two dings I kind of gave to this knife are just because of my preferences and my hand size, honestly. But this has been way too long a review already. Hopefully I wasn't rambling. I hope this was decently pleasant. But great knife. And yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the review. Great knife overall. I recommend it. I'm all about it now. I was choosing between this and a ZT551 within the trade, and I'm glad I got to experience this, even if I do trade it away. This is quite amazing. I might pick myself up the 200 and see how that is. All right, guys. Thanks a lot, and like I said in the beginning, seemingly 2 hours ago, If you guys know of any good brick and mortar knife stores around Central Jersey, the Princeton area, Toms River area, give me a shout, or even the Philly area maybe. Give me a shout and just let me know. I'd be really appreciated. All right, guys? Thanks a lot. Once again, I'll see you guys later.